Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Towel Boy, where we try to give you the cleanest takes in sports. We talked about Western Conference All Stars. Today, we are talking about Eastern Conference All Stars. My picks, who I believe the 12 best players in the Eastern Conference have been in the NBA. We've got the Eastern Conference, which is going to be definitely more of a challenge to talk about for me, just because there's about 4 or 5 guys who are for sure All Stars, but then everybody else you can really make an argument for, I guess. But first off, the obvious one of the best players in the world, even though they've been hurt, Giannis Antetokounmpo, averaging almost 29 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists. One of the best players in all of the world. The Bucks haven't been very good, partly because Giannis hasn't played a bunch, but you can see his value because they stink when he's not playing, right? Giannis is going to make the All Star game. One of the best players in the world. Hopefully, he gets healthy and can push Milwaukee on a run there. Next up, got Cade Cunningham. Pistons are the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, which is crazy to say. Never would have guessed that. And Cade's the main reason why. I've been on record saying I don't really believe in Cade as a superstar, blah, blah, blah. I'm wrong. Averaging 26 points per game. One of the best playmakers in the league at 9.6 assists, second in the NBA in assists per game. Gets about 6 rebounds per game on pretty good efficiency, right? Because 2 to 3 a little bit better, only 33%. Only 46% from the field, but that's not bad for a lead guard with as much usage as Cade Cunningham has. He's the driving catalyst behind the Pistons' success. The Pistons have been such a fun watch. Of course, you would like to see Cade have a little bit less turnovers, but that just comes with it, I think. He's been so exceptional. I have to be the first one to say I was wrong. I did not think he was going to be an elite player in this league, and he definitely is, right? Cade Cunningham, absolutely a lock to make the All Star game here in the Eastern Conference. The next guy, I was on record saying I thought that the Celtics were going to be better than a lot of people thought. Did I think they were going to be this good? Probably not. And man, let me just say, if I had to vote right now, I think I give my MVP vote. Whoa, my MVP vote to Jalen Brown. He's been nothing short of spectacular. Almost 30 points per game, fourth in the league in scoring, carrying the Celtics team, playing it on both sides of the ball. Like one of the most special performances of the year, he drops 50 points against the Clippers while locking up Kawhi. And Kawhi had been on a crazy stretch of games of scoring the ball. Jalen Brown has been maybe not the best player in the NBA, but the most valuable player in the NBA. Like nobody means more to their team and to their team's success than Jalen Brown does. They're second in the Eastern Conference right now. Nobody would have ever thought that. And Jalen Brown is the reason why. So Jalen Brown absolutely needs to be the first name really that you think of in the Eastern Conference when it comes to the All-Star game. And then the next guy, third in the league in scoring, we got Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers have been slightly disappointing just because they still are figuring it out. But I think they are a sleeper team when it comes to the playoffs. Once Embiid gets healthy, Maxi, everybody's back. Maxi's a special, special scorer. Like I said, 30 points per game, shooting about 47% from the field, 40% from three on high volume, 88% from the free throw line. Very good player. His playmaking has improved. I don't think he is an elite playmaker himself, but he makes the right passes, makes the right reads. About 6.7 assist point per game. Only 2.5 turnovers. You love to see it. He's such a fun player to watch. So dynamic with the ball in his hands. Tyrese Maxey, definitely, definitely, definitely all star. Next guy that's for sure an all star, Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. The Knicks have not been as good as you would have guessed coming to the season. Most people's pick to win the Eastern Conference. But that's no fault of Jalen Brunson by any means. Jalen Brunson still top 10 in the league in scoring 28 points per game, 6.1 assists, top 20 in the league, 48% from the field, which is pretty tremendous when you think about his size. About 39% from three, 85% from the free throw line. So he's just really, really efficient, really, really good. We've all seen Jalen Brunson for years now to be one of the best players in the league, an All NBA caliber point guard. Jalen Brunson, absolutely in the All Star game. Next guy I'm going to talk about, Donovan Mitchell. Top 10 again in scoring at 29.2 points per game. And I talked about the Knicks a little bit with Jalen Brunson, how they were expected to win the Eastern Conference, and they've been slightly disappointing. Same thing with the Cavs. It was the Knicks and the Cavs, you would have guessed, were the best teams in the East. Now the Knicks sit at third, Cavs sit at fifth, but they just have not looked as impressive as you would hope for, right? But again, Donovan Mitchell has been the most important player for this Cavs team. Without him, they just aren't the same team. They don't have the scoring punch. Averaging 29 points per game on, you know, 49% from the field is a career high for Donovan Mitchell. He's career high efficiency, 39% from three, also going to be a career high on 10 attempts per game. So that's almost a whole more attempts per game than last year, which was pretty crazy, right? I think in was it 2021, maybe one of his last years in Utah, he shot about 10 threes per game. So this is one of the most he's ever shot three and the most efficiently he's done it. So career year scoring the ball from Donovan Mitchell after coming off an all NBA type season. Donovan Mitchell absolutely deserves it. And these six guys I talked about, right? Mitchell, Maxey, Brunson, Giannis, Jalen Brown, Kate Cunningham. Those are the guys that really are locks for me when it comes to making the All Star game in the Eastern Conference. Those guys, those six players, 100%, I feel like are unanimous. They're making the All Star game. Now it's the next six guys that I think you can have a conversation about, mix it up. And I think there will be some disagreements from you guys, from my picks, uh, and what maybe the All Star games are announced later today. So we'll see what happens. But the next guy that I have is Scotty Barnes. The Raptors have been very fun. Fourth seed, 25 wins. Scotty Barnes, I think, has been their most important player. You can make an argument for Brandon Ingram, but I think Scotty Barnes is the player I'm going to pick because of his two-way versatility. His stats don't scream at you, right? Almost 20 points per game at 19.6 points per game, eight rebounds, 5.5 assists. Nothing insane, nothing spectacular, but he's one of the true guys who can guard 1 through 5 on the defensive end while adding a lot of value on the offensive end. I think Scotty's going to be one of the most solid players in the league for a while. I don't think he's ever going to reach that true superstar status, but he's going to be very, very important to a Raptors team. He's going to be important. He's going to be a driving force through winning success, and that is an all-star in my opinion. One of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and I think he's the most important player. So I'm giving Scotty Barnes a nod there. Next guy, very similar. I'm going to give Bam Adebayo a nod here. Offensively, and like the stats are going to jump out at you, 17 and a half points per game, right? Uh, 9.5 rebounds, only 2.5 assists. So his playmaking has definitely gone down. His efficiency has gone down, only 45% from the field. Not an offensive player, really, right? He's fine offensively. He never took that leap that we hoped he would, but he's one of the best defensive players in the game. Going to be an all defensive player. Might have a chance, outside chance for defensive player of the year. You could give the Heat a nod. The Heat are going to get one All Star, and they have two candidates, him or Norm Powell. What do you value more? I value Adebayo's defense, so I'm giving Adebayo the nod here to make the All Star game. The next guy, man, I struggled with putting him here. Started the season off super strong. They've definitely slowed down his team and himself. Do you really put him in as an All Star? But that's where the Eastern Conference kind of his weakness shows up. I'm gonna do it because I think that he at least deserves a mention. Josh Giddey of the Chicago Bulls, I'm gonna put in the All Star game. 19 points per game, but then he does stuff the stat sheet. 9 rebounds, 9 assists, one of the best playmakers, third in the NBA in assists. Decent efficiency, career high from three. Is he a true All Star? Hard to know, right? But what he's done this season, he's helped the Bulls get off. They got off to a better start than you would think, but now they're back into that play-in game uh, that we really know them to be a part of, right? I think Josh Giddey's done enough to get a nod. One of those things where
if you argue he doesn't deserve to make it over some of these other guys, I'm not going to fight you. But Josh Giddey is going to make it for me one of the better playmaking point guards in the league. So Josh Giddey makes the All Star game for me. Next guy, this guy might be more of a lock than the other guys, right? I talked about the six first guys; those guys were locks. The Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks might be the seventh lock for me. Almost 23 points per game, top 10 in rebounds and assists with 10 rebounds a game, 8 assists per night. Now, is he active scoring threat from the perimeter? Not a huge one, but he gets to the line decently. Uh, and he's been the best player for this Hawks team. They've slowed down. They went on that huge streak without Trey Young, and then they started to slow down. Even before Trey Young came back, Jalen Johnson has been their best player, and he's been one of the best players in the Eastern Conference. So for me, no brainer that Jalen Johnson is making the All Star game. And I think you might argue that he's the seventh lock in the All Star game. And then I think you could argue this next guy is near a lock, even though his team has stinks. Michael Porter Jr. has been so fun to watch this season. Kind of coming in, he's been that third fiddle for those championship run that the Jokic led Nuggets have had. Obviously, his usage is going to go up. But Michael Porter Jr. has been so good for the Nets. He's averaging almost 26 points per game on really good efficiency, 49% from the field, almost 10 3-point attempts per game, shooting about 41%. Still rebounds the ball really well at 7.5 assists, 7.5 rebounds per game, excuse me. He's he makes some shots that are you watch the Nets, if you watch the Nets, right? That are like, wow, how is he making? Why is he taking? Oh, they're going in. So Michael Porter Jr. absolutely has been playing at an all-star level. I'm very curious to see if a team tries to trade for Michael Porter Jr. or if the Nets think he could be a part of their rebuild future. Very curious to see with the upcoming trade deadline where Porter Jr. ends up. But he's been spectacular, super fun to watch. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be an all star for me. And this last guy, again, on a losing team like Michael Porter Jr., but he's been so good. And I just want to give him a shout out more than anything. Um, yeah, I chose him over guys like Jalen Duren, Derek White, Carl Anthony Towns, if you want to put him in, Brandon Ingram. This guy plays for the Indiana Pacers, the worst team in the NBA. But I'm putting Pascal Siakam in the All Star game. The Pacers stink, but Siakam is still awesome. One of my favorite guys to watch over the course of the years. To see his growth and development as a basketball player is awesome. 24 points per game on 48% shooting, 38% from the three. He's doing everything that he can for the Pacers, right? I think the biggest shout out that I can give to him, uh, that really show that he deserves to be an all star, is that the Pacers are the worst team in the NBA, awful net rating, but he has a positive net rating on when he's on the court. The Pacers have a positive net rating. That's insane for a team that this bad, right? So Pascal Siakam making the All Star game for me. Out of the Eastern Conference, we got Giannis, Cade, Jalen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Scotty Barnes, Bam Adebayo, Josh Giddey, Jalen Johnson, Michael Porter Jr., Pascal Siakam. Crazy list. I'm very curious to see. So I'm sure that you guys disagree with more of these picks than the Western Conference because there's more variance. There's only, like I said, six for sure guys. Then Jalen Johnson might be seven for sure guys. So I can't wait to hear who you guys have. Tell me where I'm wrong and what picks I made that were dumb out of the Eastern Conference.
Let me know. Please comment. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who did I snub? Who do you believe should make it in over some of the guys that I picked? Who's earned the right? Who should not have made it from my list, right? I would love to hear from you guys. Please comment below. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. Until next time, have a great one.